this is important too, is that you complete the type that you're taking without diversifying and becoming preoccupied with other things. And this is one of the things traditionally you did with knowledge. Like in Mauritania, one of the beauties of their system of studying is that they still do only one subject at a time. You study one thing so you don't lose sight. You don't get too preoccupied. If you're going to study, you shouldn't have more than a few subjects. But now in all these modern schools, they give them like 20, 17. In some of these madrasas now, they give them 17 subjects in one. It's ridiculous. You can't learn anything. At best, you'll have vague recollections. I remember, I took a class in Balagha. There was something about Laf wa Nashr and I think Khali al-Dhihin or something. What did they mean by that? That's what will happen. So he said, don't start anything before you finish something else. Don't start something unless you finish the thing you're already in. And don't leave something until you fully grasped it. George Leonard, who's an interesting man, wrote a book called Mastery, which is actually worth reading. Some books I mentioned aren't. I read them, but in the end, I wouldn't. You can sum up books in 2 or 3 lines, so why read it if you can get somebody who's already read it to tell you what the author had to say. But that book is an interesting book. He says that mastery is basically, he said there's 3 types of people. I think there's 3. So there you go, it's the magic number, 3. He said that you had dabblers, hackers, and masters. That was it. He said dabblers are people, for instance, they go see a film about samurai. And then suddenly they decide they're going to become a samurai. So they go get all these books on samurais and they even find out there's a dojo in town that teaches Aikido or samurai swords. And they read all these books and this and that. But then a couple of weeks later, they realize that this is really difficult. And then now they saw a movie about downhill racer or something like that. So now they're going to go take up skiing or something like that. This is a person who's always dabbling in his life. He's always a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. He never takes anything on with any seriousness. And these people are pretty much empty people. They might be able to hold a conversation for about 3 minutes on any one subject. And then it fizzles out. And then you have hackers. And hackers are people that will stick with something to where they get to a level of proficiency. Like somebody, for instance, who studies some Arabic. The dabbler, he'll go to the course, he'll get all the books. I've got my Hayward Nahmad, I've got my Ajurumiyya. And then like 3 weeks later, he drops out of the class. And then the books are on the shelf. That's the dabbler. Right, now he's going to, well, I realize I should learn Urdu first and whatever. The hacker, he'll take the course. And he'll get to a point where he can read, kind of. Right, he'll get to a point, he can read his hadith with his hands there. And that's basically, he'll get to a point of proficiency at a certain level, and that's where he stops. That's the second type person. The third type person is what Leonard called a master. And he said, this is not somebody who necessarily has mastered his subject, but he is committed to mastery. So there's always improvement. He's always improving. And these are the people that excel in life. They're the people that will finish their studies. They're the people that will continue to learn throughout their life. And obviously, you can see yourself a little bit in all 3 categories. I mean, there's some things we're all going to dabble in. There's some things we'll all be hackers in. But there should be some things that we have a commitment to. Right? And that's why traditionally in the Muslim arts, it was all about mastery. You look, anything the Muslims did, Inna Allah yuhibb al-itqan. Allah loves itqan. Inna Allah yuhibb al-abdi idha amila abdan an yutqinahu. Allah loves, should a servant do some type of thing, that he masters it. Allah loves that. That's why calligraphers are so amazing. Calligraphers are some of the most interesting people you'll ever meet. And also martial art, I mean, people generally that have mastered anything are interesting people. Even if they're dunyawi people. If they're mastered, like you meet a classical musician, somebody who's really mastered that skill, you will benefit from them. I guarantee you. You'll get something from a conversation with them. Because those people are really unusual. They're rare people. People that have committed to really mastering something. And the thing about mastery is it crosses. It doesn't matter what you mastered, they all did the same things. That's the beauty of it. It's the same thing, whether it was for dunya or akhirah, it's the same thing. And the same rules apply. So that's what he's saying. If you're going to do something, do it till you finish it or don't start it. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever learns a martial art and then leaves it has disobeyed Abul Qasim. If you start like a martial art, you shouldn't leave it. It's better stay out of it than to start it. That's why Sahaba, if they took on a practice, they maintained it until they died. If they took on a sunnah, they maintained it until they died. They didn't dabble in it. They weren't dabblers. Sahaba were neither dabblers nor hackers. None of them. They were masters.